What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It's Tuesday, it's 9 o'clock, the kids are asleep, the wives are asleep, so kick back, relax, pour yourself a cold one, crack yourself a stiff one, even roll yourself a green one if that is the way you like to roll, ladies and gentlemen. But tonight, my guest is making his return on Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It is Vinnie Vane, and I'm looking forward to getting into having a great conversation with Vinnie. It's always fun catching up with my boy. It's nonstop laughs, and I'm sure it's not going to be any different this time. But we are brought to you and powered to you by the MWA Podcast Network. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow button, share button, subscribe link, all that good shit. Follow us, and as long as you're tuning in, that's all that matters. But guys, before we get into tonight's show, let's take a quick moment, a quick pause for the cause, a quick second to pay the respects to the sponsors who keep the lights on up in this bitch. First up is the Wrestling Universe. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Wrestling Universe is your one-stop shop for all your pro wrestling merchandise. They have all kinds of WWE, TNA, UFC, WCW, ECW, and AEW action figures, past and present. They carry t-shirts, wrestling cards, autographed 8x10s, masks, belts, and much, much more. Guys, also, if you're in Queens, New York, where they are located, they have in-store signings with some of the biggest names from the wrestling world. They've got coming up, I think they've just had Darby Allin, they've had Mickey James, I believe Sting was there last week. They've also had Prince Nana, a heap of guys from Ring of Honor, Jonathan Gresham, Kenny King, Brody King, and so many more. So go and check them out. If you're in Queens, New York, you will not be disappointed and get something certified, autographed right then and there. All autographed items come with a certificate of authenticity. And if you live in another country like Australia or Japan or England or New Zealand or wherever it is, they ship internationally no matter where you are in the world. So hit them up at thewrestlinguniverse.com. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is sleeves.com. Now, if you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to check out sleeves.com. They carry armbands, knee pads, compression pants, compression tights, headbands, joggers, socks, and even dirty boxes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm wearing a pair of these dirty boxes right now, and I have to say they are the most comfortable boxes that I own. And plus, they've got a big elephant trunk on the front of it, which is pretty ironic as well. So, guys, make sure you check out sleeves.com. Use promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about healthvape.com. Now, HealthVape has got you covered for your healthy vaping alternatives, ladies and gentlemen. All products are no nicotine, no harmful or addictive chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. So make sure to pick yourself up of some of their vape and pod products. Use promo code MWAPOD for a 10% discount, guys. Guys, seriously, check out all of our sponsors. We have some amazing ones on offer, which offer amazing products. But guys, as well, you are tuning into the MWA Podcast Network. We have some amazing shows on this network, like Killing the Business with former ECW original, The Kingpin, Angel Motherfucker Medina with King Mega and Glenn Sexton, live every Friday night at 8 p.m. USA Eastern, which is Saturday 10 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia. So make sure you tune in. It is very hard to, pretty much restrain what Kingpin's going to say. Like, he just opens his mouth and he just spits out whatever he's thinking. And, we're trying to censor him, but you just can't. So, guys, it makes for an entertaining and fun show. They break down all of the stuff that's going on in the wrestling world, so you need to check that show out. Also, Get Funked live every Thursday at 7 p.m. USA Eastern, which is Friday 9 a.m. here in Sydney time. It is Get Funked with former WCW and TNA star Alan Kwee Funk. He brings on all of his old friends from, or I shouldn't say old because they'll probably kick my ass, but he brings in a lot of his long-term friends, guys he trained with at the power plant, guys that he's wrestled and girls that he's wrestled in WCW and in TNA, and they share some amazing stories. It actually takes me back to my younger years, guys. So if you want to get that nostalgic feeling, check out Get Funked every single week here on the MWA Podcast Network. But guys, also one other show you need to check out is Knights of the Gimmick Table with the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. These guys are tag team legends on the Northeast Independent Circuit in the US. They've wrestled for Ring of Honor, XPW, CZW. They are, like I said, the most respected tag team in American Indies. So make sure you go and check their show out, Knights of the Gimmick Table. They're bringing on their friends every single week. The guys that they've been up and down the roads with, sharing stories, reminiscing about old times. They recently had on Homicide. So make sure you go and check all of those guys out. But I can see people in the chat are already here. We got Khalid in the house. We got we got Josh Tadasar, what up, man? And we got Killer Kowal up in Twitch. Guys, I'm gonna bring out my guest right now. It is the man himself, the bad guy, the guy your girlfriends mark out for. Vinnie Vane, what's up, brother?
How are you, man? What's going on?
Man, not much, bro. Just enjoying lockdown, man. It's really good to see you, bro.
It's good to see you too, but can I say something, man? With an intro like that, I think I need to go and get myself a pair of those trunks from Sleeves with the elephant trunk on the front. I think it is so fitting for a guy like me, mate. Well done, you have sold a pair. To your sponsors, clap, clap, pay him more.
There you go, guys. We'll put that out as a clip for our sponsors to see. But
100%.
Man, it's good to see you again, bro. Like it's
too.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
I've missed you. Congratulations, new baby, beautiful.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
You make them well, mate. I think it's all your wife, but like, hey, man, I'm going to give you some credit too. You know what I mean? You've done well, man.
Hey, man, my kids get that Mediterranean tan and good looks from the wife, no doubt, bro.
No doubt. You've done well.
How's things been going with you, man? We're back in lockdown. You were starting to do some shows there for a while near this year, and it was starting to look good for everybody, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great for everyone. Wrestling was pretty much back to normal. I was doing quite a few shows every month, which much to the dismay of my wife pissed her off, but you know how it goes. It was going good, and lockdown happened, and it is a shame because I had a lot of good things in the pipeline with all the companies I was working for. I was set and had a good storyline and my teeth into a lot of things. But now with lockdown, man, it's life. It's full of a little bit of disappointments, and we just get used to it. So all I'm trying to do now, man, is just stay relatively fit. I'm running most days. I'm doing a lot of ab workouts because, hey, the bad guy's got to keep this in check. And I'm just trying to lay off the donuts, mate, which is the biggest struggle I'm having at the moment. I'm in lockdown, to be completely fair.
Dude,
so it's not all bad.
I haven't trained in 5 weeks, and my wife said to me yesterday, she's like, "You want to come for a walk with me and the kids?" And I'm like, "Nah." She's like, "You sure?" And she just went, "You sure, fat ass?" And I went, "All right, let's go." And she's like, "You got to start getting back you need to start working out."
You look great anyway, man, if you want my opinion. But I'll be honest with you. I can't go back to the way it was last year because I will never forget this. When wrestling started up again late in 2020, I remember that day I was hanging out at my mom's house and my sister was over. And I was like, I'm going to take my shirt off and get a bit of sun before the show. And my sister basically threw me under the bus and was just like, hey, what's going on there, man? You're looking a bit out of shape. Usually you're toned and ready and ripped. And she goes, I don't think you got it. And that was like she stuck a knife right through my heart and knew how to just kick my ass all over again. I felt like I was 7. So I'm not going back to that. I refuse to start wrestling again and looking like a bag of crap. I am going to look like $1 million coming out of this. Hopefully I can maintain my discipline.
That's what Angel says to me, man. He's almost 50 and he's like, he works out every single day. And he's like, man, when I go to signings and shit, I don't or go to indie events, I don't want people to go, oh man, look at him. He really let himself go. You know what I mean? He goes, I want people to go, fuck, he looks good. He looks, you know what I mean? He looks, you know what I mean? He goes, I just don't want to be that guy, and
I don't blame him. I think as part of my character as well, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big jacked up guy, but I'm relatively lean. I like me. I like looking in the mirror. I like what's staring back. So I think you owe it to yourself and to the character to stay in relatively good shape.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, I need to get myself back into it, and it's definitely the plan. I've gone for a run tonight and did my little bit. So, always to get back into it, man. But absolutely, dude.
Just lay off the pasta, bro.
Oh, bro, I'm trying, man. But dude, looking at shows, it was actually disappointing because you and me were about to do be on the same show, really.
I know.
You know what I mean? I was making my debut in commentary, and I was really excited because I was going to call your match because obviously you're a good friend of mine, and it's like I thought it'd be a lot of fun, but obviously lockdown happened, and it took us it's probably set it back a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to happen.
Look, if there was someone I wanted calling my match, it would undoubtedly be you. So I'm actually kind of just as pissed off as you are about that. But I know that it's definitely in the pipeline, and it's with FWA, if you don't mind me saying. So that'll, I know when things get back to normal, management will put that show back on, and it'll happen, man. It's absolutely going to happen.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But, man, you've been doing a fair bit around there, with FWA, Kingdom, and even AWS, you've been getting there. We got Fivey's in the chat.
Hey, Fivey. How are you, cuz?
Yeah, man. But how was it like getting back into wrestling, bro? Like after like the first lot of lockdown?
Look, it was hard given that you hadn't been inside a ring for such a long time that you just don't know how far off the mark you're going to be. And look, anyone that knows me in the wrestling world knows that I'm not an avid wrestling trainer. Like, yes, I do keep relatively fit, but I've said it before, I work quite a strenuous work schedule in the real world, and sometimes training's hard. So that already made it 10 times difficult to get back in and start being at a level that is competitive and to go out there and put on a show that, is worthy of a good performance and worthy to be booked and worthy to hold that spot on the card. So it was difficult, but I think the more he did it, and I got into a real good rhythm there once we came back from lockdown, it was, water off a duck's back, like riding a bicycle. You do your thing. Anyone that watches me sees I have the same sort of routine. So it's just tuning up the little fine details. But challenging, yes, but nothing that's unachievable.
How do you find, like, because obviously with such a busy schedule, like to keep in shape and to work out and stuff like that, when we're not in COVID times, how do you keep it all going? Because it's like, man, you're one of the busiest guys I know.
Look, man, I don't like to say, oh yeah, I'm so busy. Like my life's so much more difficult. No, everyone's busy. Everyone's
I didn't mean like that.
I know. But look, honestly, the one thing I've learned over the years, not just through wrestling, but just with anything I've ever done, whether it was, I've spoken to you before, I used to do martial arts. I competed at a world, on an international stage as a teenager. It's consistency and discipline. Like some nights I put the kid to bed and then I'm out doing a workout. I'm going to the gym at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Or, you have to find the time to fit it in. If I'm working like at my, my day job, I'm located in the city, I go to the gym on my lunch break. Like bad luck, pack your gear, go have a workout, get in the shower, go back to your desk and, make magic happen. You just find the time. No, you find the time. If you want it bad enough, you'll do it. I wish I could be that committed to actually wrestling training, but I do what I can when I can. Like I wear a lot of hats. I'm a, first and foremost, I'm a dad and a husband. I'm a son, I'm a brother. Then I'm, a marketer. I'm a podcaster. I'm a wrestler. I'm wearing a lot of hats, man, and I don't have it all together. I can tell you that much now. When like it's always the way, if my real world work is going good, chances are my wrestling ain't doing as much. Or, if wrestling's going great, my family are suffering because I'm not there. It's, mate, you can never have it all together. I constantly juggle. That's what I do.
Yeah, man. It's the same here with me, man. Like I have some of those weeks. It's just like so much going on. But I think as well, like as you said, you find the time to do things like to get workouts in where you can, and even being a parent, man, it's hard. I've always said, when it comes to training, people make two things: time or excuses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think being a parent, I want to be there for my daughter more than anything, and like she's at that age now where these are the milestones like walking and first words. And like, I don't want to miss that, but again, you got to chase your dreams. You got to follow your passion. So I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I'm working with. And I think I don't want to pat myself on the back and say I'm amazing, but I'm managing. I'm doing well. Like I'm kicking goals left, right, and center. I'm content. I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky. I really, I can't complain about anything in life. Honest truth. I'm very, very, very lucky.
And and that's a good thing to have, man. And I think family first and foremost, kids first and foremost as well, man. It's but how good is it when you come home from a bad day and it's like, you hear that daddy's home and they just come running the door, like that. You could have the worst day in the world, and I tell people this, like it could like suck, right? You have the shittiest day at work, and then you come home and you hear those like words and those feet running. Yeah, it's like, oh fuck, nothing really matters.
No, and that's the honest truth. Everything is secondary. And I just worry about the day when that's not going to happen anymore, when she's going to be like, oh, hey, Dad, like I'm going to cry and a bit of my heart's going to break. Because it's funny, like I know there's a wrestling podcast and we're talking about kids. Far out, should be a parenthood podcast.
Yeah, but, I know. We'll get to the wrestling.
Yeah. But it's just like, like it swells your heart, man. You do all this for your kids, and I hope that, like, I was talking to my wife about this, and, we've spoken about how much longer do you want to do this for? You're getting on with it. Are you still having fun? And of course I am, but I want my daughter, one thing I want her to realize is that no matter what challenges you're going through or how much you've got on in life, chase your dreams. Do 100%. It, chase it, don't give up. Like, you keep pushing and you're pushing. And I hope that when she's at an age where she wants to start understanding the world, and I'm talking as a teenager and as an adult, that she can look at me and say, you know what, my dad never made excuses. He brought in an income. He gave me a good life. He took care of my mom, and he chased all his dreams, and he was still a good dad. If I can do all that and have her see that for what I'm worth, I think I would have done well as a parent. So.
And that's the thing, man. You want to show your kids on how it's done and what the grind is, bro. And by showing them is doing everything. Getting those workouts in when everyone else is sitting on the couch watching TV. Doing podcasting or doing wrestling and getting yourself out there, man. And that's the thing. The wrestling community in Australia is probably one of the ones which is probably the most supportive that you can really hear about. I mean? Like, I speak to a lot of guys and everyone is so supportive of each other in this business, in this country. When you hear in like stuff that goes on in America of, the politics and stuff like that still being there. But like in Australian wrestling, it seems like it's a very supportive environment on the outside looking in.
Yeah, look, the fans are extremely supportive. And I've spoken to many, many, many fans that have always come up to me and go, like, to your point, you're so busy, I don't know how you juggle it all. Like, like, that's amazing that you can do this. And that for me, like, if people can see that and appreciate that, like that again, like, it warms your heart. It's like, oh, that's really nice that people notice these things. And I like the fact that with a lot of fans, with some performers, it's all about, you got to be in the gym, you got to be training 5 days a week in ring. That's great. Like, I agree. I'd love to do it. But, unfortunately, life doesn't necessarily do that. And I don't want to be a one-man like talent. Like, I'm sure I've made it public before. I work in marketing. I am a certified practicing marketer, one of 400 in the country. I'm performing at that in marketing at a very, very high level. So for me, that's paramount. I love that. But I love wrestling as well. I love wrestling. I'd love to turn it into a full-time career. But I'm exploring podcasting now and trying to learn that with my podcast partner and trying to put episodes out. So I'm constantly trying new things. And I can tell you now, when I retire from pro wrestling, I'm going to get into racing and I'm going to go and start karting. Like, I used to kart before I was a wrestler, and I'm going to start doing that at a competitive level. And, I want to, when I'm on my deathbed and I got to look back at, God willing, 70, 80 years, 90 years worth of life, I want to know that I did as much as I could, and not at a mediocre level, at a high 100%. Competitive level. It's not everyone can do it, but I have an ego problem and I want to be great at it. It's just me,
dude. And that's the thing. One thing I've learned about you is, dude, like, you don't do things like half tilt at all, bro. Like, when you told me, hey, I'm going to start doing a podcast, or I'm doing this podcasting with your buddy Albert. And then, like, a couple months later, you're like, hey, man, come down to my studio, check it out. And then I come down there and this place is like fucking decked out. It's professional. I'm like, wow, man, like, this guy is just like, a couple months ago, we kind of started doing this podcasting. And now it's like, built your own studio, man. It's really impressive, dude.
Yeah, no, well, we're in my studio today, which is great because it's all legal according to COVID, which is true. It's true. I'm not doing anything wrong being here. I'm actually well within my rights. But we don't look, the podcast we're doing now, The Brain and the Vein, is talking originally about a lot of life and like issues and day-to-day like fallacies and whatnot, which was really cool. But to be completely honest, we got to a point where we couldn't say what we wanted to say because in today's world, everyone's offended. And we both have very high-end careers that we're not willing to forego six-figure salaries on because of something we said on a podcast. So we've reinvestigated what the content's about and where we're heading. And we're getting some episodes back up and running, and we're going to have you on as well, Piers. You're going to come on my show soon. And we'll be releasing stuff in the future. But again, like The Brain is also very much like me. We don't do anything half-assed. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it properly. Otherwise, don't do it at all.
Oh, absolutely, man. Just wanted to tell you a huge shout out to Lowrider in the house, one half of the Dead Presidents on nights of the gimmick table here on the MWA Podcast Network. Make sure you check out their show. They just had on Homicide, man. A great show. And Homicide actually talked about wrestling in Australia. So everyone should go check that out. But, man, it comes down to, like, I suppose commitment as well. Like, if you're going to do something, like, to me, I'm the same way. I can't do something half-assed and just go, yeah, I'm going to try and do this. It's like, no, I've got to either go all in and really indulge myself into it. And then it's like, I find myself digging myself deeper and deeper into stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's
obsession, isn't it? It actually becomes to a level where it's actually obsessed. And but I like people like that. They're the ones that are most successful.
Oh, 100%, man. And it's like, if you get out of stuff what you put into stuff. That's what the way I've always been taught,
Oh, absolutely. And like, even with wrestling per se, like, I'm a very big fan of, well, not a fan, but I advocate that you have to be well-rounded as a wrestler. And when I say that, I don't just mean, like, a lot of people focus on technical in-ring ability. And yes, that is important, but I really believe there's so much more to it. And I've said this, your character's got to be something and stand out. Your promo has to be good, but also, what do you do outside the ring? Like, I put a lot of emphasis on my own brand. Like, I want Vinnie Vane to be its own brand. I'm not saying I want to go sell t-shirts and, designer goods, but I mean, when you think of Vinnie Vane, what do you think of? So I focus on making it a brand on social media, my website, stuff like that. It's all part of the package, and that's what I believe. If you want to be a success, you should consider all those elements, because it's one thing to be a great wrestler, but if you can't talk and you're not marketable, are you really going to make money for a promoter?
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, unless you're doing like crazy, stupid stunts that people pay to see, but even then, like, your career is going to be limited, and probably shortened at any moment. But like, that's the thing, dude. We discussed it last time you were on, and you said, even Triple H said this, anyone can wrestle. Like, they can take someone and teach them how to work. Yeah. You know what I mean? Some people will just pick it up and excel, and some people will take a little bit longer to nurture to get there. But if someone comes with something where it's like a social media presence, like they know how to market, they know how to, talk, they know how to like cut a promo, they look like a certain way. If they have one of those things or multiple of those things, that's what they're looking for.
Absolutely. And I think, like, if you look at the Australians that are over there now, like Wahlberg was exactly that. The kid looked fantastic. He could move fantastic. He was a very well marketed performer. I'm not saying, I don't know but you can see that's why he's there. You know what I mean? He's very marketable. So you got to have all those pieces to make it to that level.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, and I think that's when the real shine through, man. And like the people that really sort of want to get to that stage will get there.
Absolutely.
That talent shines through, man. But,
absolutely.
As far as the, coming back and you getting into the wrestling and stuff, man, like, how did you find, like, how was the wife first and foremost with you going? Because you were doing a lot of shows there for a while, man. Like,
hey, well, I'm still married, bro. I'm still married. So that's an indication. No, look, she's very supportive. With my wrestling, she's always been, you do you, boo, and you make sure you're happy. Just, come home. And when you come home, you play the real me. You play Nathan, you play husband, you play father. But it is trying sometimes, because, you miss out on a lot of events. You miss out on a lot. And being from a WOG family, there's weddings and christenings and birthdays and this and that. And if I'm not letting her down, I'm letting my mum down, or, someone else down. I can't make it. But it's part of the sacrifice. you can't do this forever. Your body is eventually gonna not want to, and you're probably going to get older and get over it and want to do other things as well. So you make the most of now, and that's just part of the sacrifice, and it's the price of admission. It's the opportunity cost. It's what you pay to do this.
Oh, absolutely, man. And you've been doing this for a few years now. Do you have like a expiration date that you want to get out of the business?
No comment. No comment. Look, it's not an expiration date. It's a matter of ticking off a few boxes still. I think, and this is not an argument I've had with my wife, but, sometimes you say some things and, she said, you were going to start, you just wanted to have one match, and then you wanted to have 2 matches, and then you wanted to win a championship, and then you wanted to wrestle an international, and then you wanted to work this place and that place. And it doesn't stop. It's like the best drug in the world. It is so addictive. And once you tick off that box, you want to go further and further and further. And I've done all that. I've won some championships. I've wrestled some great internationals. Like, I've wrestled guys I grew up idolizing. So for me, check, win. That WWE light, that's the one that, everyone wants to get to, or a major, company like New Japan or, AEW. But is it going to happen? I don't know. At my age, it's hard. It's a lot of commitment that I don't necessarily have capacity for, because I'm stretched 5 ways to Friday. But, it's like I said, it's a drug, and you just, you want to keep pushing as far as you can for as long as you can. But when the time is right, I will hang them up. Yeah, man. I mean, and that's even low, right? It says check the marks on the bucket list. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's like, what is life for if not to tick off things? I hate to say it, but you got a list. There's things you want to accomplish. And then when I've done all those, I'll move on to the next thing. It's really straightforward. Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. And I think as well, like you said, it's if you had the time to commit, man, like, and to get there, that would be like now would be the time. But even again, you've got like so many external factors outside of it. Hey, man, I'm not gonna lie. I like money. Okay, like I don't work for the love of it. Like, yes, I love what I do with marketing and whatnot, but I'm working to build a good life. I'm building a very nice home at the moment. I want to give my wife a beautiful home. I want to give my kids a beautiful home. I want my parents to be proud of the son they raised. And I got to go to work to do that. And I don't want to be a starving artist. I'm sorry to use that term, but I can't couch surf, and I can't live on cup of noodles. I want to live, and I want to enjoy living. And wrestling is a bonus. The fact that I can still go of a weekend, put my gear on, go out there, kick some ass. I come home with a big goofy smile on my face. I'm happy. Who was your last match? Or your most recent match, I should say, not your last match. It was actually for Kingdom Wrestling Entertainment, and the last match I did was the actual Kingdom Rumble, but I wrestled Grant Lindstrom on that card in the opener, which was actually a last minute call up. I think it was originally 5-star Flash versus Lindstrom, but I don't know what happened. I can't remember the details. They're like, hey, can you step in and do this? And I'm like, of course I can, Super Vinnie. And I wrestled Lindstrom in an opener, which was actually really good. I actually really enjoyed that match. It was something we didn't necessarily talk about. It was more done on the fly, which is something I'm trying to get better experience at, because, there's nothing wrong with it, but anyone can go out there, remember a match, rehearse it, go and do it. This was more feed off the crowd, listen to what they're doing. And Grant was actually fantastic to work. I think he's actually, fairly underrated given what he does. I enjoyed the match. It was fun, and I hope to wrestle him again, but go longer. Yeah, man, I agree, man. Lindstrom is really good. Like, he's good from what I've seen of him. Like, just and he's a solid dude too, man. Like, oh, he's solid. He hits, man. He hits hard. But I've seen a couple of his matches, man. They're really good. Yeah, I think I owe him a bit of a receipt. Just maybe a sneaky one next time. Just maybe. He lit up my chest pretty bad, man. So we'll see what happens. Draw blood on you or what? No. I'm just being a smart ass, man. It comes with the territory, it's fun. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. Like, do receipts still get delivered in this day and age, or is it just like, oh, fuck, sorry, bro? Or is it like, all right, man, you get one sorry, bro, and then it's a receipt? Depends who I'm wrestling. Like, if they're genuinely sorry, no dramas. But if you're an asshole and I know you're being an ass, well, let's be honest, I know I can kick the shit out of you, so I might just do that.
Have you ever had to do that though, man? Have you ever had to deal with someone like that in the ring before?
No comment, Piers. You ask the tough questions, my friend.
You know, dude, you know I do, man. You know, like,
I know you do.
You know that's where it was going anyway. Like.
I know. Look, it's happened, but we're just going to keep it between me and that person. Okay, hey, I think out of respect, it's done. What
happens on the field stays on the field. What happens in the ring stays.
That's
in the ring.
it. It was in the ring. It was taken care of. There was no issues backstage. He understood why. Nothing more to say. You know, if you want to take a stab at it, you know, like, you know, want to have a go after, that's fine. We can discuss that after behind closed doors. Give Pops a shout out. Pops, I love you. How you doing, little girl?
Yeah, is that a friend of yours?
Yeah, she's cute, man. She comes to like every show. She's just one of those adorable kids, mate, that makes doing what you're doing all the more worthwhile.
Yeah, and do you find like you still have that connection with fans? Because majority of the time that you're playing a heel.
Yeah,
like everyone knows a heel's a bad guy, I'm sure, watching your show. But like how is the fan interaction after the shows with you though?
Look, I hate to say this, but keeping kayfabe sometimes after the show is rather difficult because these fans pay their money. And this is one of the conversations I was having with a promoter where he's like, this is the hard thing with you. Like, they love to hate you, but they don't really hate you, but they'll play on it that they hate you. But then after the show, you know, they want photos and they're all wearing your t-shirt and, you know, it's so hard. But it's one of those things where I'm really lucky. Like, I take it from a stance where if they paid their money, they've come out of their way to see you, you owe them 5 minutes of a conversation, you know, and not that I owe it to them, but like, I want to, you know, they're there supporting me. Like, if they're booing me, they're really doing me a favor. You know, it means I'm doing my job. It means, you know, again, check the box, you know, part of the plan. So it's one of those things that, you know, I love the fans. I'm very appreciative for all their support because, you know, they're part of the reason I'm booked on all these shows because people want to, you know, they want to see the Vinnie Vane character and they, you know, the promoter obviously gets that and they book me accordingly and they put me in predominant spots. Like everywhere I'm working, I'm very lucky. I'm in predominant matches, predominant storylines, you know, key highlighted events. So it's good. You know, it's all thanks to the fans. That's the bottom line.
Do you get the reaction that you want though when you come out from the crowd? Like, do you feel like you get the heel heat?
It depends.
Or is it the cool heel heat? You know what I mean?
It's the cool heel heat most of the time. Like, this is a thing. If some crowds, like if I'm doing like a Kingdom show, they absolutely despise me, you know, but they'll boo me. Same with FWA, they'll boo me. It's one of those things. But at the same time, if there's new fans in the crowd, it kind of, they meant to hate me, but they kind of like me. And especially if they're female, you know, Vinnie Vane, bro, what do you want me to tell you? Like, it's just like, I like him. I want a photo with him. And it's like, of course you do, honey. I'm married. You know what I mean?
But you know what? That you have the best line in, I think, pro wrestling that I've ever heard. And I'm not saying that because we're friends, but it's like, I make your girl mark out. Like, dude, that is one of the best lines. How did you come up with it? And it was like, you know, obviously, you how you just said with the photos, like, of course you do, honey. Like the vibrato, the attitude, the confidence of Vinnie Vane. But like that line, how did that come about?
I work in marketing, bro. I'm a marketer by trade. It wasn't rocket science. You know, what do you want me to tell you? I'm sure it's been done before and said somewhere before. My opinion is everything in wrestling has been done. I really don't know. I don't know. I thought about it. I saw it. I just thought it was one of those cool ass things. You know, it just sounds badass. And that's it, man. I like it. And, you know, it kind of reigns true because it's always been the case. If I've ever done a show and there's been some smart ass guy in the crowd that just will not shut up and wants to ride you the entire match and there's a line, you know what I mean? And you don't cross that line. Like, you can say things, I'll take it on the chin, but the moment you start throwing drinks at me and my mom, this, that, Like,
yeah, that's fucked.
Okay, I know your girl likes me. You know what I mean? I'll call that out on the microphone, and then I'll really put you in a real awkward spot. You know what I mean, man? And then like, let's see how big it actually is, champion. So
yeah, but that's the thing, man. It's like having that attitude with fans like that as well will only get you more heat, which is even better in that sort of sense, because that's like you're getting yourself over as a heel even more with that shit.
Oh yeah, I love it when I see that guy, because it's always the same. It's the same stereotypical, and I hate to say it, there's always that one person that you can characterize. You know that like he's had a few too many. He's got to impress the missus. You know, he wants to show that, oh, I'm bigger than, like, this guy's skinny. You know, look at him. He's just a pretty boy. I'm more macho than him. And then, all right, keep going. And then, great, that is my mark. You know what I mean? So I'm going to direct everything I can at you, whether it be on the microphone or when I'm a heel and I got a guy in a lock. I'm just going to speak to you. I'm just going to have a go at you. Keep arcing up, because what happens is he then gets his mates involved and they make more noise. And then before you know it, I've got him eating out of the palm of my hand. No matter what I do, I could cure cancer and they're still going to boo me. You know what I mean? So I win at the end of the day. I always win. That's what happens. Even when I lose the match, I'm still winning. I did my job.
100%.
I get paid. I go home.
You get that heat, man, and that's what you want as a heel. But like, have you ever had like guys, you know, say, oh, I'm going to be outside waiting for you? Like, is it ever, or does it usually after the show finishes, is it sort of like all smiles and like?
Sometimes, look, if that person and I like, look, let's say I've really put it on them a little bit too much, I will go and like, I will always, if I see them like in the crowd after the show, I will go, how you going, man? Thank you for being a part of the show. Really appreciate it. I'll be nice. But if you cross that line, I'm not going to talk to you. But yeah, some people have gone on. I've had a guy try and bash me in the car park before, and I've just dropped my bag and said, hey, man, take a swing. Last thing you ever fucking do. Sorry to curse, but you know what I mean?
Dude, it's shooting the shit.
His missus pulled him away, and I'm like, yeah, bro, you're lucky. You get to live another day. Because believe me, I am the wrong person to mess with. Like, I know that sounds really macho and really bravado.
No, not at all, dude. Fuck, like
fucking try me. I'll make you fucking famous, bro. Try me.
But it's having that confidence, man. And I think even, you know, I think fans, you know, you saw in AEW recently with a fan try and jump the guardrail and go Jericho or MJF or some shit. And, you know, it's never going to go that way, bro. You know what I mean? Like, as a fan, just enjoy the show, realize what it is. But I think some of these people, like some of the people that react that way, probably shouldn't be going to a wrestling show to begin with. You know what I mean? Because they don't have the mental understanding
capacity.
Of what, the mental capacity to really understand what is happening in front of them.
But at the same time, be a little bit smart, because like, all right, what we do is perceived as scripted and fake, but we're still trained athletes. Like, we know what we're doing. Like, I could take your head off with my right foot. Like, do you really want to go down that road, bro? Like, for being someone that's sitting in the crowd, you know, that's probably unathletic. Like, don't try it, man. It's not going to end well for you. Like, that's the honest truth. Not just with me, but that's with like 99.9% of the roster. So just enjoy the show, sit back, go home, have a nice night.
Kyle Ead says, remember that time you chucked my phone when I was talking shit?
No comment. No comment. Who says it was an accident, Kyle?
Oh God, that's hilarious, man. But it's funny, man. Like, it's you know, I was talking to Angel and he was telling me, he's like, man, you cross that line of that ring, he goes, you come into my world, he goes, I'll fuck you up. Like, you know, and he's not like a vibrato. I know he's not like that to me. He's a buddy of mine, but like, he's saying, man, I'll fuck you up. You come into that world, man. Like, okay, you be ready.
Yeah, I think that's a golden rule. Like, you just don't, like, fans, honestly, we love you. We love the support, but don't ever cross that boundary, because it's not going to end well for us or you, because we don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to get arrested for killing you, and you don't want to get beat up. So it's best you just stay on that side of the fence.
Oh, 100%, man. But yeah, I think Aussie wrestling fans that we see now, we get a good crowd at shows. Like, you see, like, I mean, I've never been to a show where people have crossed that particular line. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen certain things get said at shows where I've gone, that's standard.
You know what I mean?
But like, I've never seen anyone cross that line to physically harm a performer.
I think once, but I think they were very much well restrained before they got over that rail. Like, I'm pretty sure they had it on, they were on top of it. But hey man, look, I hope it never happens with me, with anyone, with any company. But you know, what do you do? It's just part of life. But most of the time, it's people that aren't regular fans. They're those one-offers that come and, like, again, a bit too much to drink, want to impress their mates. What do you do, man? It's how it goes.
Oh, exactly, man. And that's just how it is, you know. Like, I think when people sort of go to those shows as well, you know, they get amped up, they get excited, you know, what's going on. Oh yeah. And as you said, they get a couple of liquid courage glasses down into them. It's like anything's gonna go. So,
yeah.
You know, but yeah, as far as, like, you know, what's coming up outside of COVID, man, like, what's you know, what's the plan for you once COVID opens up? Or once COVID sort of ceases now?
From a wrestling standpoint? Yeah, look, basically, I've got some pretty good matches lined up with FWA, Kingdom, and AWS. So pretty much with FWA, I'm going to be gunning for that Mercury title. I really think Parker Thomas and I could tear the house down, and that's something I want to eventually get and, you know, tear him to shreds, as they'd say. But no, I think that'd be a really great matchup. And I know that's something the FWA fans want to see, because every time they put up you know, what matches do you want to see? That's generally one that keeps coming up. So I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. So I'm going to be gunning for that. And on a Kingdom front, I know we've got the election campaign show, which is Team Fergus versus Team Keegan, which has been delayed again and again during COVID, but that's something we're definitely going to look towards doing. And I know that Kingdom are looking to bring out a 600 title, which is basically a 10 limit time limit, which I think would make things very, very interesting. Yeah. There's talks at that. Yeah, that's something I wouldn't mind sinking my teeth into. You know, so I'm going to be looking to get my hands involved with that. And with AWS, I know they got their tournament to crown a new champion, and I was set to go up against B-Boy in round 1, but unfortunately that day the lockdown restrictions started and our show was cancelled at the, you know, very last minute. But I've got a lot of things. Like I said, I'm very lucky. I'm put into great spots on shows, which I'm very grateful to all the promoters I work with for seeing, you know, having faith in me and seeing the value I bring. And I'm just going to roll with that and see what happens, see where we're at the end of the year. If we're out of lockdown, you know, that'll be great. And then we'll set another set of goals and go from there.
Yeah, you mentioned FWA as well, man, and I'd love to talk about the feud you have been having with Fivey on and off for a while now, man. And you know, how has that been for you, like working with Fivey? You know, like obviously being the promoter there, you know, that guy wears a lot of hats on show day. You know, how do you find like the time to sort of sit down and find out what you're doing with him and going through it? Is it usually very rushed and quick?
Look, I don't give Fivey a lot of credit. I'm going to give him a lot of credit here, should I say. I think the fact that he can run his shows and still manage to go out there and have a good match, he doesn't get enough credit, to be completely fair. You know, yes, Fivey, no shit. I say that. Yes, buddy, I see that. He doesn't get enough credit. Working with him was actually like, at first, because I only had worked for FWA once, and I think it was back in 2018, and I just never got there again until after COVID. But Fivey saw some value in me, and he saw that I could fill a spot and, you know, really bring my character in and have it make an impact on his roster. And I'm very grateful for that. Working with him, obviously at first was a little bit stressful on my end, purely because he is the promoter. He is the be all end all, has the final say. So you don't want to fuck up. You know, like, and it's like a test. But I think the first singles match we had, I was actually very happy with. I was very happy with my performance. I was very happy with his performance. I actually thought he was really underrated, to be completely fair. Wrestling him in that match, it's actually one of my favorite matches as of late. I had a really good time with him. The guy is really safe. He took my finisher, the Vanity Fair, like a freaking champion. Like, you know, just one of those things where he just jumped, spun, nailed it. Looked fantastic on camera, made me look like a rock star. So, you know, thank you to Fivey for that. And then we went into a street fight, which I don't normally do much of those these days. I kind of promised the wife when the kid was born that I'm going to cut that shit out, just purely because I don't want to get overly hurt or beat up when you're on dad duty the next morning. But, you know, I trust Fivey. Fivey was great in that match. Everything went to plan. And he's a credit to himself. If you look at some of the matches he's had against Adam Brooks and, I think he wrestled Robbie Eagles at one point as well. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But I know he had some JXT, he wrestled JXT, sorry.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fivey's doing really well. He's trying to test himself against some of the best. And, like I said, I don't think he gets enough credit, to run a show. He's booking good talent on there. And the shows are really, like, when you look at the cards are stacked, man. It's got like 100%. some of the best guys in New South Wales and some of the best interstaters. And I'm quite, thankful to be on that card. And I appreciate him seeing, the value in me and having the faith in me to perform with, wrestlers of that caliber. So, thanks to Fivey. I owe Fivey a lot,
Fivey's a good dude, man. And as I said at the top, he was going to give me an opportunity to commentate on that card, which it was like, that was a stocked card, man. And to be given an opportunity like that, and, I couldn't thank him enough, man. Like, I was so excited. And like, when that show got canceled, like, I was utterly gutted because I'm like, oh, damn, like, fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I was so G'd up for it, man. But, he made the right decision, bro, like, to keep everyone safe, So, credit to Fivey for making the tough call, to cancel it, because I know that wouldn't have been easy.
No, absolutely. And look, I'm spewing just as much as you. Like, we had some big plans for that show. Involving my character and, unfortunately has to get shelved. But hey, what do you do? This is wrestling. Shit happens. Like Fivey puts the people and his roster and his crew first, and respect.
Oh, absolutely, man. And, who knows when the show finally does happen, hopefully it's going to make it even that much more bigger and special and spectacular. So
I have no doubt. If I know Fivey, I know he's always got a few things up his sleeve where you're like, I didn't see that coming. So, he cares about the fans and their perception and making sure they go home happy. So, when it happens, and I have no doubt it's going to be great. A, because I'm on it, and B, because it's got a great roster. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, man. But I wanted to ask you as well about the Wrestling Go show. They did a show with an independent wrestler here, Albie, I think, in Australia last year, and it was like a massive show. Candice Michelle was there. You were actually on the show. How was that experience, man? Like, how big of a show was that? I mean, I wasn't there, but I saw a lot of photos of, like, they had a lot of the Middle Eastern drums and all that sort of thing for it. So, but what was the show like?
Well, I main evented, which was fantastic. That was really cool. That was so I was brought into that show. My name was thrown in the mix through a few different people. Albie needed a solid heel for that main event because it was Albie, who's the independent wrestler that put the show on, versus myself, versus a star from the States who was signed to MLW named Douglas James, who was actually a fantastic talent, phenomenal. I think he's retired now, which is actually a shame, but because he was fantastic, one of the best I've ever been in the ring with. But that show was next level, man. Like, for an indie show, the production value was amazing. We had like entrances and, like with fireworks and pyro and, like I had guys come in because I think it was a Street Fighter or a hardcore match. I can't really remember, but I had guys come out, bringing, like, wearing black and wearing like a face mask, and then they brought all my weapons to the ring and surrounded the ring. It was just really cool. Felt like, it was pretty badass. And that card as well was stacked. It had Candice Michelle on there, who still looks like a sort even 20 years after her heyday. She still looks fantastic. It had Gavin McGavin on there. It had I think Maddie Wahlberg, I think Shazar Tali. It was stacked. It was a really, really stacked card. Kasai was on there as well, who's plays the ninja, fantastic worker. Really great show. Really fantastic to be a part of. And again, one of those things I'm really thankful for, that like, whoever made the decision there, they saw that I had, potential, and I know they wanted a solid heel to be in that main event and be the main antagonist, and they had enough faith in me to do the job. Unfortunately, in the match, it didn't necessarily go as planned because I ended up splitting Albie's head open with a chair shot.
I saw that. Yeah, the back of the head.
What happened was, he was on the turnbuckle. DJ was going to superplex him, but DJ hooked him solid, and just the way I had come in, his head was out, and I had just, as I threw it, I knew it, and I just caught him, an inch off the wrong spot, split him open. And then I'm there with him on the top rope and he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, what do you mean what's going on? What are you talking about? And then all the rest was just improv. We just had to improv it. And then it was really kind of a fuck moment because we had like cues for people to do run-ins and stuff like that. It was really a heavy booked match. But look, we got there in the end. He was okay. It's wrestling. Shit happens. I apologized. I'm not the first guy to do it. I won't be the last guy. It was an accident. It was just, even DJ was like, Breakers, I hooked him way too hard. I knew you were coming from that angle. We went over it. I don't know why I did it. I go, no, I threw it. It's my fault. So what do you do, man?
Accidents happen, man.
Accidents happen.
You sound like he was pretty well concussed at that, man. But
he came around eventually. I know I had to instead take a Death Valley driver onto a pile of chairs while he came to, which I remember being like, yeah, you had that coming. Fuck. But no, it was a good match, man, and a great show. And I think there's a thing, man, that show drew like 500 people and was live streamed and did fairly good numbers on live stream. So like that was one of those things. I know like a lot of workers were making fun of it, to be fair, which wasn't really great. Like they were kind of taking the piss out of it, which it's really unprofessional, was really unwarranted. I'm sure they have their reasons, but at the end of the day, to bring 500 people into a show that is in Greater Western Sydney, in front of paying fans, that's an accomplishment. And I think Albie deserves some kudos for that. He brought Candice Michelle over who, and if that's what the fans want, they want to meet, their heroes and their inspirations and their stars, and they want a good card. And that card was great from what I remember of it. So, kudos to Albie. I know he got, made fun of a fair bit, which I think is really, uncalled for. But you know what? He did his show. He did it with everyone laughing in his face. The guy's a hero. I got nothing more to say, man. Well done to him.
Yeah, man. Enough. Like to go out there and put a show on and to draw that many people to even like a company that doesn't run like regular shows, like a one-off essentially, that is a massive accomplishment, dude.
Yeah, I know he partnered with Wrestling Go for it, and like obviously like they had like regular Wrestling Go roster on it. But yeah, it is an accomplishment, and I think it's something he should be very proud of. He main evented, he did it in front of his people. I know Albie's a very proud Assyrian, and I know the Assyrian people are very country proud and very proud of their people that do things. I'm married to an Assyrian, so I know. And he's a credit to his people, man. So good on you, mate. Like I'm a fan.
Absolutely, man. And, we touched before, like, you starting with AWE and training and working there, man. I was kind of disappointed when I worked those AWE shows. I thought I was going to see Mr. Vinnie Vane there. Man, do you think you'll see yourself back on an AWE show?
Look, I don't know about that. Sammy Russo that runs AWE, I know he gets a lot of criticism, but he's trying his best to put on the best type of shows he can for the fans. And AWE has a very unique fan base. They're different to the regular fans I see at Kingdom and FWA, AWS, BCW even. They're very different. He's doing what he's doing. We've had a bit of a disagreement on certain things, which happens. There's no hard feelings on my end. My schedule's pretty much booked out as it is. The one thing I loved about AWE at the time was all my friends were there. Like Christian Chaos, who's probably, in my opinion, Australia's best referee, just doesn't get enough credit for it, if I may be completely honest with you. He was there. He's my road buddy. We're in the car everywhere, going everywhere we can. He's not there anymore. Guys that I started with, Nathan Yazbek, who's playing Fabian over at Wrestle Strong, he's not there anymore. I have no comment. If the opportunity presents itself and I can fit it in and I can find the time, yeah, sure. You never say never. I don't want to be that guy who says, I'm never doing that again, and then I do it like a hypocrite. You never say never. I don't know what today's going to bring. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I don't know what a week's going to bring. I don't like the association that's happening in pro wrestling where it's like, oh, you work for them, therefore he's crap or he can't wrestle with us. I don't like that. I think we're putting on a show for the fans and we're going out there to do what we love. I don't care whether it's blue brand, black brand, red brand. I don't care what it's branded. If I'm comfortable there and I like the people I'm working with, I will work there. That's the bottom line.
And that's the main important thing, bro, as well. It's if you enjoy what you're doing, if you start like with this sort of stuff, man, like if you're not enjoying doing it, then the risk is you're going to go out there and get yourself hurt because you're not going to be paying attention, or you're going to hurt someone else. Because you know what I mean? Like, I think if your heart's not in it for wrestling on all the time, you know what I mean? Like, to continue doing what you're doing and, yeah, and do what you enjoy doing.
Absolutely. And I've got to enjoy doing it. Otherwise, why am I wasting my time? Like, what's the point of this if you're not enjoying it? And like I said, my schedule when wrestling is on outside of COVID is booked. I'm working, quite a lot, many shows that fits like, and it's hard to fit it all in with my lifestyle, and I'm content where I'm at with FWA. I'm content with where I'm at Kingdom. I'm content with AWS. And, when BCW starts rolling around again, I'll be heading back down there. So I'm really content. As always, I'm always open for bookings. If it fits my bill and I'm happy to go, you'll see me there. If the fans want to see me at places, they're the voice. Talk to the promoters, email the page, message the page. That will dictate where I end up, essentially. That's why the fans are so powerful and so key to what we do. They literally dictate what happens. So if you want to see me somewhere in the country, let them know. They'll let me know. I'll see you there.
And BCW, man, have they been in communication that they're going to be doing shows again once this COVID walls out?
I knew there was plans for originally. There was potentially they like to do tours, and I know there was potentially a tour in June. It got pushed back to August, and now obviously it's definitely not going ahead. I don't know. I speak regularly with the promoter over there. We get along really well outside of the ring. So I don't know, to tell you the truth. I'd like to say there would be. I know we had some good storylines heading in prior to COVID last year. I know that they had announced a show at the Metro Theatre that was going to be headlined by Nick Aldis for the what is it? It's not coming to me. This then the NWA title.
NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
NWA World Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be Nick Aldis versus Jonathan Preston, who I think is one of the most amazing talents I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Him and his brother Sean, a fantastic tag team. Me and Lucius Wolf got to wrestle them numerous times at BCW. We had a blast. That show didn't get to go ahead, which was a shame. I don't know if that's going to be on the cards again, with COVID and international travel. Who knows? It was actually one of the shows that I was really looking forward to doing. And purely because it was at the Metro Theatre, which is iconic, Lucius Wolf was going to be there, who's, my friend outside of the ring. Christian Chaos, my friend. It was just going to be a good, something to do with the boys, man. Yeah. But man. I don't know what the future holds, man. How long's a piece of string?
That's it, man. And any excuse for a boys' weekend is always welcome, right?
Yeah, we usually when we do BCW, we generally get booked on the Friday show in Melbourne and then have to back up Saturday night in Sydney. And those weekends are just crazy. We're up at 5 a.m. on a Friday morning, airport, Melbourne for the day, do the show, go out that night. I usually get on the first plane back to Sydney on the Saturday morning because I want to go see my daughter, just for a couple of hours and, get a hug and, make sure she's okay. And then I'll take off to the venue, do the show. And then I think the last one we did, I main evented against the Mexicals. And then I actually remember this clear as day. Did the main event, had a shower. We ended up at Frankie's Pizza Bar in the city. And man, Hoovy was there. I think Super Crazy came later. I remember the Prestons, Sean, had a few. He was the best. He's the funniest guy. And then I remember me and DJ Sonic and Christian Chaos were walking back down George Street at 6 a.m. And I'm like, dude, it's been 48 hours almost. And I've barely slept an hour. And I just remember being absolutely baked. And then I think I went home. Yeah, I got into bed. And then an hour later, my daughter woke up. And I'm like, oh my God, kill me now. I was like, I don't drink, but I could imagine that's what a hangover feels like.
Oh man, it's the lack of sleep, man, is a punishment, bro. And but I think as well, when you've got that adrenaline going, it keeps you going, man, especially after a shows when you've got all that sort of energy burning through you as well, man. So
These are the memories you're going to look back on and just be like, that was awesome. That was kick ass. Like, I remember that night, like, I got to wrestle the Mexicals. Like, they were guys I literally remember watching SmackDown like in 2005 and being like, oh my God. Like, like, I didn't mark, you don't mark out now. Like, I'm a professional. I don't mark out, but it's still, it's kind of surreal. The people you grew up idolizing, you're now on equal playing field with them. It's nice.
Oh, 100%, man. It's that when you get that opportunity to meet your heroes and work with them, it's something in a different level, man. And you always like remain professional because you don't want to be marking out in front of people.
No. I make a point of it. I always remain professional because like if I want to be a mark, I'll buy a ticket. I'll sit on the other side of the ring. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like fans are fans. No. But if I commit to doing this and performing, you're no longer a fan. Like you can be a fan, but you have to present in a different light, 100%. And I think that's what separates, and I hate to use this term and I'm not sexist, but it's what separates the men from the boys, so to speak.
No, that's fair enough. But guys, it is that time of the hour. It is that time that we play 60 Seconds with Piers. We've warned Vinnie about this or told him about it. How it's going to work is I'm going to fire questions at Vinnie. He's got 60 seconds to answer as many as he can. Mr. Vane, are you ready to go?
I was born ready, baby. Let's go.
Home barbecues or nightclubs?
Home barbecues.
Pool or snooker?
Don't know the difference.
What will your autobiography be called?
I Make Your Girl Mark Out.
If you could take all the credit for any film in history, which film would it be?
Titanic. I sunk a ship.
How old were you when you found out about Santa Claus?
4, 5.
Ravioli or tortellini?
Ravioli.
Biggest pet peeve?
Peppa Pig.
In 5 minutes, you are being shipped to outer space. What 2 personal belongings, excluding humans, do you take with you?
Oh, a watch and my phone.
Favorite song to sing at karaoke?
You Will Always Be Beautiful in My Eyes by Joshua Caddison.
Name a gross meal combo that you like that no one else does.
Don't have one.
Time. There you go. That's been 60 Seconds with Piers. Vinnie, man, it's always a pleasure, bro. An hour with you just seems to fly by, man. Like
I know. I could sit here for another hour and talk to you, legitimately.
Easily, bro. But why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media, where they can get some Vinnie Vane merch? Because
like
I know you
this
get some
one,
nice like that one right there, bro.
Yeah, look, you guys can catch me. All my social handles are at Vinnie_Vane. So you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can get a selection of my t-shirts at Wrestler Merch. They're really cool. I know they, print, deliver. They're fantastic at what they do. All my designs are there. Guys, if you're a Vinnie Vane fan, get your hands on it. But that's where you can find me. And I'm sure you'll find me back here on Shooting the Shit with Piers Austin. How about this, Piers? When I win a championship, another one, let's hope, in the next 12 months, I will come back on and just talk shit for an hour with you, man, and just brag about how amazing I am.
Deal. That sounds like a great time. But guys, please make sure to check out all of our amazing sponsors, thewrestlinguniverse.com, your one-stop shop for all your wrestling merchandise, sleeves.com. If you're an athlete or someone you know as an athlete, Sleeves have got you covered with every single thing that you'll need, and you'll get a 10% discount when you use promo code MWA pod. But guys, if you're like me, you're trying to get healthier, you want to quit smoking, you want to quit using one of these vapor things, head to healthvape.com, use promo code MWA pod to get 10% off your final purchase. But guys, also make sure you check out the rest of the shows we got here on the MWA Podcast Network. They're Shooting the Shit Uncensored with myself, Killing the Business with former ECW original The Kingpin, Angel Medina, King Mega, and Glenn Sexton. We got Get Funked with Alan Kwee Funk, former WCW star. And we've also got Nights of the Gimmick Table hosted by the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. So, guys, make sure you check out all of those amazing shows here at the MWA Podcast Network. We appreciate you all for tuning in. If you're tuning in for the first time, make sure you do us a favor on YouTube. Click that subscribe button, click that follow button, that bell. Stay notified every time we put out new content. If you're following us on Twitch, don't be a bitch. Hit that subscribe button and subscribe on Twitch. But until next time, guys, I'm Piers. This is Vinnie, and we'll see you soon.
Peace. Bye, guys.